All right, hi everybody. This is Nick. I'm just going to take you through Chilton Central and how to do some things on there for your classes. Specifically, getting some tasks ready and making the page look nice, and also just putting a tile up for your students to connect to Zoom. And I'm also going to talk about how you can get your Zoom settings all done. So just remember, this is a video for people that are kind of new to Chilton Central. So if you've kind of used it a few times before, you might find this a little bit slow and boring. It's really for people who want to refresh or have never really used it before. I might make another one for more experienced Chilton Central users later on, but I can already see that this is not all my classes. So some of my classes have been taken down for maintenance, I suppose. So anyway, we've got enough that I can show you everything. So just remember, you can pause me at any time. You can make me play slow. You can make me speak slower or faster with the settings in the bottom right hand corner of YouTube. You can go J to go back 10 seconds. You can go L to go forwards 10 seconds. You can turn on subtitles. Hopefully the computer will work out what I've said. Sorry if I mumble a bit. So the first thing we're going to do is actually have some things open here in my tabs open here. So I've got Zoom open here. I'm just going to sign in really quickly. I think that's the right password. Yep. And I have a playlist that I've made in YouTube. Just now, everyone has a YouTube account if you've got a Google account. So I've just signed in with my normal school email, and if you like or you comment on a video, it's all sort of like connected on a separate sort of YouTube one. So, but this is some of my playlists. I've got one on Year 7 Art from last year when we were doing African masks, and AS Digital Media and Design about how to use video editing and everything else. But I'm going to stay on this one, which is what I had on about computer parts. I've also got a Pinterest account. This might not be useful for everyone, but I just want to show you how you can use buttons here. So this is a Pinterest one. And I've also got Khan Academy up, and Khan Academy is pretty good for having some independent work that students can do. And I've also got one more. Just you'll find out why later, because I need to have an even number. I've also got this GCF Global Free Learning, and so it's another sort of like option of how students can find out about things a little bit separately. Unfortunately, it's got advertising the whole way through, but it's nice, easy language for middle school students to understand the internet. So anyway, and the other thing I've done over in this tab is that I've got some images. So in case you don't know how to do this, I always go to Tools, Size, Large. So I've always got high quality images. So if I was looking up stuff like coding, for example, it's only going to be some nice high quality looking stuff. And I'm just saving this into a little folder that are called images on my desktop. I'll just call this code. And the reason being is that I want to have some nice images for my page. So now on I've got some of these images. I've got one for Zoom. So, and the reason why is we're going to create a Zoom button. So I've just gone, whoops, no, I'm just going to go Zoom. And there's a whole lot of images of the logo for Zoom, whether you want more of a dark look or a white look or a blue look or whatever you want. So once you've got all those things, you've got some tabs open of interest that relate to your class, we can start making one. One of them should also be Zoom. Now, it's my personal opinion that when you go into Zoom, you just use one meeting room, and that's going to be your personal room. So if I just, as soon as you log in, it's sort of like got your profile, not that that's really that interesting, but meetings on the side here. And I just use personal room for everything, absolutely everything. So if I'm having a meeting with a colleague, if I'm having a class, it's using my personal room. And this is my personal room, the meeting ID. But the important thing is this invite link. That's the most important thing of all. So this is just a place on the internet. So if you copy this URL and you pop it into a new one here, or you link on this, it will recognize that you are the, it's going to start recording me now. So it's going to start a video, I believe. Or no, or maybe it won't because I'm screen recording as well. But anyway, I can close that now. So, like I was saying, the most important thing is this invite link here. You are the host and you're a participant. If you go down to edit here, a couple of other things you might want to change. This thing is new to Zoom in the last couple of months that I haven't seen before, but it's basically only users who have the invite link or passcode can join the meeting. That's okay, because you won't actually have to give this to anyone if they've got the invite link, which is that other thing I've shown you. Host, participant, some more options. I allow participants to join anytime, and I mute participants when they come into the room, and then I can unmute them, which is a good way to keep sort of order. I'm just going to save my settings. The important thing that I have got is this, my invite link. So now that we've got a playlist, something to do with Pinterest, Khan Academy something, free internet stuff, so all of these are of interest to me. And now I can go to Schoolbox. I'm just going to show you one that I've taken out everything. There's nothing here on Year 9C Digital Media at all. Nothing. 9S might be a different, oh yeah, it's full of old stuff from last year. But we're going to try to make it look a bit like this with some other bits and pieces. So let's just go back, sorry, to 9C. So there's nothing on here right now. So the first thing we're going to do is to make sure that Year 9C Digital Media and the code 9C DMA are in one page. The reason being is that one is a class and one is a course. So this might not be as much of a problem as I think it used to be. Look up digital. Yeah, digital. Year 9 Digital Media. Yeah, so these are the units that I used to do with this. So without getting too much into it, what we're going to do just on this page is we're going to just quickly do some things. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this padlock and you're going to unlock it. And then once you've unlocked it, you can change things to the page. You can still add things. There's some other things that you can't. But one thing I like the most are tiles. So I'm going to add a tile now, and I'm going to call it all tiles, and it's going to be a row of 2 and column, yes, landscape, yes, that's good. And I'm going to add a tile now. And the very first one I'm going to add, which is probably the most important, is Zoom. I'm going to call this Zoom. And I'm going to make the text white. That's fine, that's fine. Now what's the URL? A URL is a place on the internet. And I'm going to copy what's in my clipboard, which is the invite link. My personal room. See, it's the same code. And I suggest opening up in a new window. If it opens up in a new window, if you think back to when you have Zoom open up, it's a new tab usually. Because if it opens up in the same one, all your Schoolbox stuff will go. And you might be a teacher that wants the students to be on Zoom and then going back to Schoolbox. So I think it's always good to open a new window. Now the image, I have that already, so I'm just going to go click or drag, and I'm going to go to my desktop and find images, and I'm going to use that Zoom image I got before and upload that. There we go. Right, so now we've got one Zoom file. All right, so far our page looks like this, but it's not quite enough. So if you go back into unlocking and you go to this padlock and tiles, you can now add another tile. And this one I'm going to change to YouTube playlist. Whoops, playlist. Again, I'm going to use sort of white text because I think my image is going to be colorful. And I'm done with that tab. I can close this tab. When you're doing this, you can just ignore that, sorry. That's the play. Oh, yeah. There we go. I'm going to copy this. I hope that's going to be the whole playlist. Let me just check. Oh, no, sorry. This one. So this little button here will be share. And this is the URL I want to copy. Copy. Now I can close this. And I'm going to go back to Schoolbox and copy that in. New tab again. The image. I'll just use that coding one I got before. Alright. Now I have a YouTube playlist and a Zoom button. So they're just like big buttons and they take them to those things. I'm going to do another one now, which is going to be the Pinterest. So I've got wait, what are we doing? Year 9. So year 9 digital media. And I think I can do like that. There we go. Copy the link. And that's my newer URL for there. White text. That probably is not going to be that useful for some people, but you know, cool. And I'm just going to do one more, and instead of Pinterest, now I'm going to do this Khan Academy one. Although, actually, no, I changed my mind. I'm going to do this one instead. So I'm just going to copy this URL, which will take them to that home page. I don't need that tab anymore. And what's another image? That one's kind of cool. Great. And GCF resources. All right, 75. Change the text to white. New tab, new window. Cool beans. All right, so I've got a Zoom button that will take us to my personal room. If I have that personal room open and students come across here, they will go to that. They will come to my YouTube playlist that I've chosen from the many videos on the internet. Pinterest for an image-based subject is good, like technology subjects, and GCF resources if they want to see that as well. I'm just going to go save. And then over here, we can go to these 3 lines here, and I can go switch to student view. So this is what they see when they get on here. All right? Now I'm just going to go back to teacher view, and I might add some other things. Embed learning. Yeah, so this is, I'm just going to call this Khan Academy because that's the only one I use apart from GCF. And computer science stuff. There we go. Yep, cool. And this will look a little bit different. So hopefully that works most of the time I do it. But if we just go back to switching to student view, it's not connecting. Okay, it will though later, and that's quite a useful thing. But if you, let's say that you didn't, actually that's a good point. What if you didn't want that? You could just unlock it and then you can get rid of that whole tab and just say remove. I changed my mind. What are some other things we can add? We can add, some people like to have, I could have done it like that as well, I suppose. A podcast. Probably not a Twitter feed, but Pinterest I could have done as well. Wolfram, I don't even know what that is. Links are obvious. Links are just like like another way of taking them to somewhere else on the internet. Image gallery is sometimes nice. It just sort of like flick through. Again, if it's more of a, I am going to do the class list. Okay, so there we go. There's the class list. But maybe I didn't like it. I didn't like where it was. So I can move things around by just going up to this little part here on the tab, and I can move this below these buttons to be there. All right, so now maybe something a little bit more complex. So you can also add a course outline. Now, in Schoolbox, a course outline is not a course outline. What they really mean is that they're importing a course into here. So I'm just going to try to find my course. Now, Year 9 Digital Technology, this is what connects us in a more formal sense to Synergetic, okay? So it brings in units that make up the coursework. Don't worry about thinking about it too much. So I'm just actually going to bring all these things in, and this is just making a snowman. I'm just going to, I'm actually not going to do this unit first, but I can change these dates later, so it doesn't matter. This can be due on a Friday. Wrecking Ball can be start on the very next Monday and due, I don't know. I'm just making updates right now. 25th is the 3rd. Goldbig Machine. Now, I'm not saying that you should design your courses as fast as this, but I just want to do this for the point of showing you how Markbook works. So I'm just making up some dates, so just ignore me for a second. I've only got one more to go, or two more to go. The Internet Project. Oops, can I have that? Sorry, I should have really looked up some dates. I'm going to make them staggered. It's going to be due on Christmas Day. Anyway, so next. Okay, cool. So here's the coursework that now connects Year 9 Digital Technology, or the code, which is 9CDMA, with my page. So what we're doing is importing a course into a class, which is rather important, really. So I'm going to go import. Now, when I do this, we can see now that I've got all these course outlines that are ready to go. Blender, Make a Snowman, Blender, Chessboard, blah, 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 blah. And what these are, if I click on here, is it takes me to another page. Now, this page is looking like a bit of a mess because this is basically like the homework. So I'm just going to go again to my padlock. I'm going to really simplify things down here. And seeing as it's the first thing, I'm going to add a link. And I think there should be a Make a Snowman on Blender. Anyway, that I can just use. I'm just going to copy this and say, make a snowman in Blender. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to change this all and open it in a new window. They always open in a new window. And visibly visible, add link. All right. And also, I'm going to add some files. Where is that? Multimedia, I think. Files. Okay, cool. And hopefully I have something all ready to go in 9Digi in term 1. I've got some examples of old ones. Don't really want that. Ah, here we go. Well, it's not actually connected. Oh, there we go. Make a snowman. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Wrong year though, but never mind. So now I'm loading up some files. So they've got the doc for that. And I'm just make snowman, make snowman. Good, good, good. Okay, so there's a file. So now I've got a file, when it's due, it's an activity, and that's just fine. So I'm going to go back into 9C Digital Media, and then I'm going to look this. This unit will open 44 minutes from now. Oh, I choose today's date. Good. All right, so this is now looking okay. I'll do one more, like this is the chessboard one. Again, this is looking like a bit of a mess. So I'm just going to clean it up. A link. These. I like YouTube because for Blender and doing things is pretty useful. Gravity. Here we go. Blender Gravity. That will do it. And that can be my link. And Goldberg machine using Blender, or whatever you want to call them. I am going to copy that because I'm going to use it also in the description. Open in a new window, add link. Perfect, okay. And maybe add some a file, which will be I don't have something on that. Actually, I didn't have a handout on that. Instead, I'm going to give them stuff like culture on the internet, like a PowerPoint. That's fine. Great. All right, cool. So now I've got that looking a little bit better. Oh my gosh, I spelled the internet wrong. Great. Okay. So this will open in 2 weeks from now, this will open in 2 months from now, this will open in 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. Okay. All right, cool. So that's looking good. So again, I don't really want that to be the first thing they see, so I'm going to pull up the file and put it there. So now it looks like files, the course outline, class list. Now I'm going to add another thing, and it's going to be just a simple file by itself. And it's going to be the Year 9 Digital Media course outline, which is what I had before, but that's 2020's one. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to put in my new course outline. Year 9 Digital Media course outline, perfect. And there it is. And that's going to be there by itself as well. Great. So now I've got that, these tiles, the course outline, and then the class list. Okay, last thing we're going to do. If you go to the course outline that we've already made, we can also change that. If you want to call it something else, which is actually probably a good idea, because at this school we don't really call that the course outline. We call it maybe the subject units or projects this year or something. So you can just go to the cogs. I'm going to go with projects this year. Whoops. It's all contextual, isn't it? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to these 3 buttons here, and we're going to go to something called Class Markbook. And as you can see, the problem is right now I've got last year's students mixed up with these year's students. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm sure that will be sorted out later when the school starts. But I've got this Blender Maker Snowman, Blender chessboard, Blender Goldberg, is the computer internet. You saw me make those, original 3D character. Now, if I want to give people their grades, I can go up this diagonal, click on here, and I can give them a mark. Let's say Hannah got 90%. Okay, and then I would go publish, and I can do the rest of everybody else. When you're finished, there should be one right at the bottom, which is like everyone's. Maybe there's not. Well, anyway, I'm not going to do that because obviously Hannah hasn't done anything yet. I'm going to not do that. There's also these other choices like absent, not assessed, not submitted, pending. I never use any of those. I either wait for them to come in or they're not. And then publish when you want them to be out. Now, how you can see the grades is done in a different way. So in Year 9C Digital Media, if you go to these 3 buttons here, you go to Modify, and you can change the cover image, which I can just do right now. So that's the inside of a computer, but instead Wait, how? Can I do something else? Oh yeah, this is more important than that. So, and who can come to the page and who can see it. So, administration can read and write on it. Teachers, parents, they can read it. Preschool students are not going to be able to see it. Primary school students, well, they shouldn't be able to see it. Middle school and senior, there's no reason the senior students should see it either. Just middle school students. And then you can have all these other groups. Synergetic, see, this is important, synergetic subject code. So we connected 9C DMA to 9C digital media. But you saw me do that. So I'm just going to change this. I'm also going to change teachers so they can write on it. All right, might not really need to do that because you're the person who owns it, so you probably don't need to worry. And modify that folder. Whoa. Maybe I should change it to write. There we go. Let me do another one. So this could be for 10C digital media, history of animation, blah, 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 blah. So this was more of an animation course last year, but I'm actually doing some different things this year, which is more kind of coding stuff. So I will go to these three dots and go down to modify and inherit permissions. So I'm going to change teachers so they can write. Preschool, no. Primary, no. Middle school, yes. Senior, no. There we go. Modify folder. Good. All right, sweet. So obviously there's heaps more you can do with it, but that's a pretty good intro to using Chilton Central. Just remember when you log into Chilton Central to do your classes, what you really want to go is to this big left-hand quest here, and it will have your subject list. Classes will be here, but I think there's another way you can just have what you've got for your timetable. So there's my timetable there, which actually that's more accurate, but there's still classes missing. I see these aren't clickable, but I guess that will be sorted out once the term properly starts. Anyway, so oh yeah, and one other thing. So once you've done assessments, you can see assessments which are halfway through or coming to be due. Some of them I never got finished with. Some of them I gave up on. Some of them have been handed in by students, which is pretty useful. And oh yeah, some people were mentioning how we might need to, let me go back to 9C digital media. But there's another thing here that is interesting if you want to write down what your learning outcomes were for a class and you wanted to get it done on a daily basis so that you had a ongoing list of things that you had taught. So where was it? Some of these titles are not counterintuitive. Collaboration, information, information. It's the first one, blog. So I suggest that we use the blog. We could call this maybe not a blog, but sort of an old-fashioned term, really. We could call it lesson plans. And I'm going to change it to 30 and collapse the content. Yeah. Anyway, so what's going to happen inside of this is that you might want to use this to write down what you're doing for each lesson, so that later on students who are having a COVID test or are home sick or in isolation can see what you did that day. So you can just go add, and I suggest that you just use the date. And then you just put in what you were doing for the lesson plan or objectives or homework. Can't spell. And maybe an image if you wanted to as well. Okay, so this is one other option to have your lesson plans up for people that are away or that are sick or in isolation this year. So I'll just show you what you might want to do. Lesson 1. Alright, so if I just go back here for a second, so far the page is looking like this. The Zoom button, YouTube playlist, Pinterest, GCF resources, projects, blah, 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 which I've already gone through. When you go on here, you can go into Markbook and give them a grade. This weighting is 20%, but you can change that by going into the thing itself. That's a bit of a mess, but never mind. And then the class list, although that's optional, of course, everything is. I've got my digital media course outline here. This is the file. I'm not sure if it should be the first one. I think that's possibly not the most important thing. In fact, I could probably go at the bottom, to be honest. But anyway, now in terms of this thing, this is lesson plan. So I'll just get rid of that and I'll show you what that might look like. So if you go into the plus sign, the very first thing, information blog. Now it is a blog, sort of, but it doesn't need to be. So the blog that I'm thinking of using this blog as a way of storing your old lesson plans, what you did in that day, what your lesson plan was, what your objectives were, what any homework you were, if you wanted to connect or embed a link or a video or an image or an Excel sheet or any of these things up here, or just a link to somewhere on the internet, you can write it like that, which is a little bit easier if you don't like Windows inside of Windows. An image, and I would just call the title the date, and then just modify it, and I don't know why I've done that a bit, but there we go. And then post that comment, and then what that will look like when you post that, is that they can click on this in Student View. I'll just go to Student View for a second. So inside of this, they can see what those are. But again, like you're probably going to say, bloggers are sort of an outdated term. So if I were you, I'd probably change that to lessons. Plans? Lesson plans? I'm not sure. I guess we'll talk more about that later. And update that. And I'm always going to have that sort of collapsed, so you can't really see it. It's kind of unimportant, really. But if you are away, sick or in isolation or whatever, it would be useful, and that will store all of the old lesson plans, what the class got up to. So hopefully that was useful, and I'll probably make another video to review some of this stuff a little bit faster, and also just some other hidden features that might be useful for some people. So I hope that was useful.